as to what it is that we're doing. Let me just clear the record. I am the Deputy Speaker of the House,
Yes.
Okay.
formerly the Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Legal Affairs.
Okay.
That incident has really shook up my constituency, in particular the La Horquetta area. And it's a type of crime that one really bleeds over, and hope that it doesn't really occur on a regular basis, because really horrendous. That I mean, killing an adult is one thing, but when you attack two innocent children, that's a different story. I know that someone has been charged and they are before the courts right now, so I wouldn't want to venture into details of what the case is about and how it's going, because it's before the court and we don't want to taint.
How has it affected the community?
Yes.
But yeah, but the community has really been shooken up. It was sad for the entire La Horquetta, because you know La Horquetta is one of the biggest community in the entire Caribbean, with over 20,000 residents living there, including children and babies, and it's a very close community in that people all around know each other. So when this happened, it really shook the entire area, and it really put us in a state that we are still trying to come out of.
This is a particular, allegedly a crime of passion, from what we've been hearing in the media reports. But has security been increased in the area to deal with the apprehension of residents after this? Okay,
well, security on the, I've held discussion with the senior superintendent and the superintendent of the La Horquetta station and the other stations around, not just in light of this, in light of crime on the whole, and what we are doing to curb crime in my constituency, and in particular La Horquetta. But it doesn't really lie here as with respect to up in security alone. It also, the community has an aspect, have a part to play in it as well. And what I've been doing since May 24th last year is working with the community together with the police to ensure that we have a safer community. I'll give you some examples. La Horquetta prior to May 24th of last year was one of the areas that can be branded as a high risk or high crime area. And over the last year, we have been successful in keeping down the crime thus far, other than these type of passion crime. We have been very successful in keeping down the crime. For the very first time in that community, people can venture out of their house and can walk on the streets. Just recently for the Easter weekend, we had a sports day. And that sports day was ready to start the process of bridging the community. Because La Horquetta has been broken up into several phases. Even though it's La Horquetta, you'll find phase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there was always I don't want to call it a war or war of words or pride, broken up into these several areas. That is correct. And what we have been doing is working now to build and bridge these gaps. With the sports, we're able to have some 9 or 10, I think 9 march past groups of young people. And what I've been doing is working with the young people in the area. Because crime generally starts from the tender age and then it matures, and then people would get married and then they'll decide, okay, that type of life is not for me anymore because I'm having children and all these kind of things. But this is the age where I am working with the youths. And apart from the sports, because in the sports we're able to track some 3,000 to 4,000 persons coming out on one day, one recreation ground without any incidents. And the report from the police was that the couple of weeks before and after that sporting event, that absolutely no report of crime in the station. So the community started working with the young ones, because once they're seeing the young ones taking, cooling their litter, and the thing about it is that they didn't come to me for any funding. These young ones went out and they held their cake sale and their raffle and all these things to raise funds.
So it was a full community effort.
Full community effort.
Speaking of young person, Ryan Rampersad.
Yes.
You're a youth officer with La Horquetta Talparo constituency. What have your counterparts, people your age, been telling you about the community, about the needs of the community, in light of what ministers just told us has happened regarding the effects of the sport? What have the concerns been before this?
Well,
prior to our MP, Jairam Seemungal, coming into office, the constituency of La Horquetta Talparo, which is a new constituency after 2007. As you know, the split of the boundaries created La Horquetta Talparo for the first time. But that area has been lacking proper representation, right? Across the board, you know, apart from the youth, everybody, all the constituents were crying out for proper representation. And after May the 24th, you know, I don't want to exaggerate, but it seemed as though Superman came into our constituency.
What was lacking in the community most?
Infrastructure, proper transportation. You don't have a proper and efficient bus service.
In that big an area,
Yeah,
servicing
exactly.
20,000 people.
The 20,000 people are more or less concentrated, as the MP said, in La Horquetta. You have other villages such as San Rafael, Brazil, all the way down to Mamoral, Mondo Nuevo. Now, these, as you hear the names of these villages, it will tell you these are rural communities. You have many landslips emerging along the roads, because it's not, the topography of the land is not flat. You have a lot of hilly areas and a lot of landslips, potholes, and a simple thing as patching of the roads, you know, poor representation, you know, before.
But even within La Horquetta itself, it's such a huge area with different phases. Transportation within that must be a big concern also. And it is also, I think, like a 20-year-old, 15-year-old community. So has infrastructure not been done to upgrade the facilities for people, Minister?
Actually, that area is about 30 to 40 years old. It's one of the oldest housing development in this country. What I've done since then is we have put in a bus service throughout the whole entire constituency. In La Horquetta now you can receive a bus from there to take you to Port of Spain, from La Horquetta to take you to Arima. We have done so from right now. For instance, you can enter into a bus from Tamana and take you to Shoguanas. Prior to that, it costs residents of Tamana some $50 to go into Shoguanas. Now it can cost $4 to go into Shoguanas. And we have done so in Waterfield and all the other areas. We have a full bus service right now. And what we have done also is put in infrastructure, improve the infrastructure such as roads throughout the area. There are a lot to be done, but with the limited funds, up to yesterday Mr. Warner is crying out for more funds to do infrastructure. But with the limited funds that we have, that I receive funding for the constituency, I had to break it up into areas that are most affected. For instance, in Las Lomas, for instance, there are roads that have never been paved for all 30 years. In Mamoral, that road, the last time anything was done to that road was some 30 to 40 years ago. And what we have done is focus on the needy area first, and then we are moving to the other areas. But apart from the transportation, we have done a lot of more other infrastructure in the entire constituency as well.
Mr. Seemungal, we have some of the video that you brought with us. I believe we can see Tumpuna Road getting some work done on it right now. I think they're going to be running that video for us. Okay, so this is the improved Tumpuna Road that we're looking at on screen here.
This is the entrance.
Beautiful black carpet.
The entrance to the Tumpuna Road. What we have done is, because they have taken off the turn off from the highway into La Horquetta, and we have now put in the light at the Tumpuna Junction, we had to widen this road and put in the necessary pavements and pave it up to a certain point so that residents will still be comfortable. And this is one of the first infrastructure. Plus, what we have done is pave the road to go into La Horquetta. So right now, prior to this road, the widening of this road and the new infrastructure, the new lights at the junction, it took almost an hour to come out of La Horquetta. Right now, we come out of there in less than 5 minutes.
So it's helped the quality of lives of the residents.
Of course, and you can get home now in less than 10 minutes.
Mr. Rampasad, as a youth officer, because we know we have another guest coming in, tell us about your role in helping to push some of the minister's initiatives forward in terms of really reaching the community and helping young people to become involved in their own rescue, so to speak.
Okay, well, basically, upon taking up office, the Member of Parliament, one of the first pronouncements he made was that he was interested in the formation of new youth groups. And this really shocked me, right? And I told myself I could work with this, because I am seeing someone who is showing a passion for the youths, something that we lacked before. My role is really finding something that is common amongst all the youths in our constituency, and that proved to be sports. We started with the cricket competition, which we have a couple of clips that you may see shortly. And we have 24 teams coming out of our constituency. Now, what we did, the Member of Parliament, he insisted on having a mixed team, both males and females. And we have a wonderful cricket competition amongst all the villages right now. What we also did was encourage the teams to not just pick players from the respective villages that they came from, but look, you have villages like Talparo, Mondo Nuevo, Tamana, and you would have the people in these villages knowing each other, but also mixing up the teams, and you are finding that neighborly love, you know, what you would have heard about long ago, that village life coming back into our constituency.
But it also breaks down rivalries.
Yes, exactly. But the thing is, through sports, you know the effect sports has on people. And I'd like to invite you all and the entire Trinidad and Tobago to visit the Brazil Recreation Ground, where our cricket competition is based right now. Recently, we got TNTech to light up that ground. We have lights, so we can have night cricket right now. The atmosphere is just electric up there right now. When you come on a night, you can see the entire village, not just Brazil, but all the other villages coming out. And my role is really finding that common thread that binds all the villages together. So from there, we're going to be forming youth groups in all the villages, and we even have a workshop set up to deal with issues like understanding group formation, leadership training, capacity building, conflict resolution, succession planning, your constitution forming. All these things we have in place. Well, prior to the splitting of Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, you know, I have been working with some of the youth development officers to get the youths together. So emerging from this cricket competition, I am able to capture all the youths in the constituency. They are on holidays now, so the time is most opportune right now to get them out. And you are seeing many, hundreds of youths involved in our competition.
Just before you leave us, tell us about how someone can contact you if they want to bring a youth group or take part in the future competitions.
You can get me at 725-4680. 725-4680, or our constituency office at 664-8770. 664-8770 or 761-5421, or you can also email me at ryanrampasad@yahoo.com.
ryanrampasad@yahoo.com.
Yes.
Easy to remember.
Easy.
Ryan, thanks. We're going to take a short break. We're talking to, of course, Jairam Seemungal, Minister in the Ministry of Legal Affairs, Deputy Speaker, and also MP for Horquetta, Talparo. We'll take a short break and come back with more.